We are the Magnetawan Community Hatchery Program. We are a walleye hatchery located in the municipality of Magnetawan in the Magnetawan Highlands region of Ontario, Canada. Our season begins when the walleye return to their spawning grounds at our hatchery site. But how do we know that the fish have arrived? This is the spawning ground where our fish gather to reproduce. Once we know the fish have traveled upstream to this particular spot, we'll place a V-shaped net in the river and use the net to gently collect the fish. We'll bring them to shore, fertilize the eggs, and place the eggs in the hatchery to incubate. But first, we need to know that the fish have arrived. We know that this usually happens in late April when the spring runoff slows and the water warms up. I asked our volunteer Austin to describe the specific signs that we and the fish are looking for, then we headed out in the boat to investigate.
Okay, so what we're looking for today is we're going to check the water temperature, and if we're getting to +6 to +8 degrees Celsius, we found in this system that the walleye will start to spawn. They will start their running up to the dam. We're going to go check the deeper holes because that's where the fish stage. And what we're looking for on the fish finder is what's known as big marks. We're going to see some big schools of fish, but they could be smelts, and they will just come up as big clouds, almost like underwater submarines. What we're looking for is going to be the bigger marks, which will be the walleye, and they'll be schooled up as well. So we're going to look at the 2 to 3 deep holes as it comes downstream. That's where the fish will be staging. Walleye are lazy; they don't like to stay in the current very long, so they'll get out of the current and just sit there and wait for evening time when they can start their run. So that's what we're looking for today. If the walleye are going to be here, this is where they're going to be staging. And so we're going to get the trolling motor out and just go over that drop off again. Big marks, they're just coming up now.
And those could be walleye?
Those could be walleye, yeah. Starting to stack up in there. That's what we're looking for. That's at 34 feet, so that's pretty deep. So those are probably walleye, and some of these straight lines are bait fish, which could be smelts, because the smelt run has just happened. And these big fish, the walleye, could be feeding on these smelts as well as staging for the spawn run. It's perfect for them because they love smelts. So now we start seeing some really big marks here.
So right now they're taking advantage of the presence of the smelts to feed.
Smelts, and they're off the main current here.
Right. So, and what signs are they looking for to start moving upstream?
Warmer water. They need warmer water. The water right now is 41, 42 degrees. That's pretty cool. That's surface temp too, so I don't know if the warmer water is down low. Considering the day, we just had a big snowfall, and the snow is melting fast and the weather's warming up again, so the warmer water could be a little bit deeper, but at this point it's just too cold overall for them to be starting a spawning run. We're in new territory, so to speak, because of climate change. This is early, and that's just the fish finder picking up a mixing of water. We should start seeing our fish back. So there's that cloud of smelts that I said earlier. And off of it, you start seeing the big fish, which are just sitting there basically with their mouth open because
feeding time.
Yeah. And that's why they make this all a fish sanctuary. So you can't fish it from May 1st to June 15th. that's what they're doing. They're looking for energy. So especially the females are producing the roe and getting it all fat and ready to go. So you'll see a bunch of them in a close clump, and you'll have these big marks a lot closer to each other, and they'll be closer to the drop off. We're sitting in the back of the hole right now, but they'll be right on the edge of the drop off. And as I said, usually they run at night. Once the evening comes, they'll be moving up. And we're out of the current again. Eh? As soon as we come out of the current, they're sitting they're sitting in the eddies. Eh? Seeing a few down there. Although those are pretty small, they're not big enough marks. Now we're starting to see a school. There we go. Got some nice sized marks in there.
But still loosely gathered.
Yeah, they're not packed. They're still pretty spread out.
Still early stages.
Yep. Water temp still 42 even down here.
So based on where we are on the river right now, you say that they're not quite ready.
They're not ready.
They're still hanging out at this secondary spot.
Yeah. We'll go down to one more hole down here and see at the lake and see if there's what's down there. Looking up high, but I don't see anything down deep. Compared to the other spots, there's nothing there.
Is that a sign that they haven't arrived here yet, and some individuals have moved upstream?
Yeah, you know what we could be seeing upstream are the males, because the males always come first. So it could be just a bunch of males, and we're not seeing the females. They're not ready yet.
So
the males
typically-
always start first, right? Up.
Typically, would you see all three sites stacked up
Yeah,
when
you
they're
see
ready to
that.
start?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't, one of the things that I noticed in there too is we saw some big fish, but we didn't, this fish probably goes one more size, and I didn't see any real big marks. And those would be the real big females, your 30-inch walleye, and we didn't see any of that.
So Austin, what comes next? When do we do this again?
Well, I think we need some warm weather. Obviously, we need to have that temperature get up closer to somewhere around +7, +8 degrees Celsius, so closer to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, where the fish are going to be a little bit more congregated. We're going to start seeing the bigger walleye come in, and the bigger walleye would be the females. Hopefully the current will go down a little bit to help us out with catching them. So give it a little bit more. Those warmer days are exactly what we need. No more snow.
Yes. Well, it looks like that's coming. So we're finishing up just below the dam, just offshore of the hatchery site. Hatchery's just over there in the distance. And
Yeah, you're seeing a very blank screen. That's not good.
nobody's here. Nobody's
No one's at the
joined
door.
the party yet. Unfortunately, what followed was a week of cold, rainy days and even a little snow. Austin kept an eye on the 3 staging sites and saw very few changes. After 8 days, we headed out again and saw some different patterns on the fish finder. We saw not only increased number of fish schooled more tightly, but also fish distributed all down the water column. and we saw those larger marks that Austin referred to, most likely larger females joining the run upstream. We also saw all kinds of waterfowl, including a male merganser, and also an otter. This abundance of wildlife is a sign of a healthy, diverse ecosystem. We're seeing the water temperature creep up a bit, but we have a couple of cold days and nights in store. We expect that with increasing temperatures later in the week, spawning may be in full swing within a few days. Sure enough, within a few days, spawning was in full swing below the dam, and the hatchery began the process of fertilizing and incubating eggs. We headed out in the boat one more time to check out the staging sites and found them to be virtually empty. We never did see the density of fish throughout the water column that we typically do just prior to spawning, but this just has not been a typical spring. We speculate that what we are seeing is a first wave of walleye spawning at a lower temperature, with another wave yet to come when the water warms up.
That's where we're at right now. We're just waiting for the water to warm up a little bit more, and then we should see another wave of fish come in out of the lake and stage in the holes ready to spawn.
What must it be like to be a walleye, dependent on instinct and signs from nature? Our changing climate and this year's unusual winter and early but cool spring has made it very difficult to predict the beginning of this year's spawn, which dictates the start of our hatchery season.